So this is what's happening. It's called demand pull inflation. This is why we're seeing this inflation go up. You might be wondering, like, okay, I understand that there's more money in the economy, but how does this relate to everything getting more expensive? And that's what's happening here, demand pull inflation. Now, of course, these concepts are much more complex, and what I'm going to break down here is a simplified version, but at least give you an idea as to what is going on. So with demand pull inflation, basically what's happening is the money supply is increasing, which increases demand. People have more money, they want to buy more stuff. And in the short run, businesses can't satisfy that demand. They simply can't produce much more on the short run. It takes a while to build something like a manufacturing facility, have new businesses start. Those kinds of things take a while. So the only place that price can go is up. So we can see here on the left side, we have the price on this axis and then real GDP on the bottom. Now, real GDP is different than just GDP. Real GDP is how much is actually produced, like the value that is produced. So we have the supply line here. We can see DO, the first demand level with this blue dotted line. And then the supply of money goes up, demand goes up, but the only place for price to go is up. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, some people think that this is a temporary thing, that manufacturing will catch up to the level of demand, things will even out and we'll be okay. Some people think the opposite. So let's break this down even further as to how the money supply and the GDP are related here. So why does this happen? Here's economy zero. So we have a GDP of $500 in economy zero. And that's calculated by the money supply of $100, so basically the amount of money in the economy, and then the velocity of money is 5 in this example. Velocity of money is how many times the same dollar is used on final transactions. So if you spend $1 at the grocery store spends $1 at a supplier, and the money stops there, that'd be a velocity of money of 2. So in this case, this healthy economy, we're saying the velocity of money is 5, the money supply is $100, so the total GDP is $500. Now, the economy slows down. Something like a pandemic happens and people are spending less. So the velocity of money cuts in half to 2.5, but we still have the same supply of money. But this just means our GDP is now half of what it used to be. Now it's $250 as compared to the GDP of $500, which actually can lead to deflation. And we saw a month or maybe 2 last year of deflation. And then what happened, at least in the case of the pandemic, is the government steps in, adds money to the money supply. So in this example, we're just going to say that the government doubles the money supply now to $200. So it was $100, now it's $200. What happens here, now this is economy 1.1, what happens here is the money supply now doubled. The velocity of money is still low because the economy is hurting right now, so it's still 2.5, but you multiply 200 by 2.5, you get the original economy size of $500. So it seems healthy. It's kind of like a fake healthy economy because the money's there, but less is actually being produced. And then here's what happens when the economy starts to heal and things start to get better. The velocity of money starts bumping up. People start going outside and start spending money. Economy 2, the velocity of money goes back up to 5, the original velocity of money. Now the money supply is that same double level. So then the economy size doubles, but there's actually the same amount being produced. So the GDP is going up, but the real GDP is the same. So there's more money out there, but the same amount being produced, and that's when we see this rampant inflation. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this content, make sure you subscribe to the main channel as well right here.